Okay, all you synth heads, here's kind of like the updated studio tour. I have not made a video in almost a month. I've been just like monstrously busy, unfortunately, but had to do a studio rewire, and that kept me down for a while because I had to finally make some tweaks. So anyway, here's the synth rack of some of the gear, and a lot of the stuff, as I'll show you, is like older stuff from the 80s and early 90s. Here's the K5000S. That's kind of new. Okay. Phantom X still stays. I'll probably never get rid of that. And of course the Sonic VFX SD. Come back, turn the corner. Here's the Motif ES. A great feeling keybed. Wonderful sound. Sounds, it's got a certain sound quality that the newer Motifs actually didn't have. Of course, the MV8800. That's a new piece. I don't have a lot to say on it right now. I picked it up on a steal of a deal, and they're hard to get now. So, the bass and drums module, that is a new piece for me. Another friend of mine bought it for me, knowing that I wanted it. And I actually have the bass and drums card. But the issue with the bass and drums card is if you happen to need to use a sound that's from, like, let's say this module here, then it kind of ties up the module for that one bass sound. So this really works great. The 3080 again was a last minute pickup. I almost got it again for a couple $100. So I took it off the market. And if I end up not needing it, I'll just get rid of it. But for now, it's a great backup for my 5080. Of course, you got the classic Motif, Triton, and the 5080. This is like part of the Mount Rushmore of the 1999-2000s era. The Triton, the Motif Classic, and the XV5080. The JD800. A monstrous piece, and of course, the Motif XS rack, Wave Station, and TX802 rack. MPC, I can't say enough about it. Of course, you know how I feel by watching my videos. Love the MPCX and the workflow. Norton Stage 3, and then here's the software interface for the Mio 10 that I have. That's an iConnectivity product. I'm just learning, I've had it for a couple of years, but I'm learning more and more about how sophisticated the routings can be. And so maybe if you want to request it, let me know if you want me to make a video on how this works, because there's not a lot of documentation on the internet. Excuse me. And then the mini rack, D50, XP30, which I use as a controller and I use as a sound source. Can be used either way. My T-Series, T3. Okay. My effects rack. I don't have a whole lot of effects, but the Behringer V-Verbs I have, and then TC Electronics, G Major 2, and then of course at the top, I've got the Timeline Strymon. Okay. And then the last synth rack is, again, these are really rare pieces made by Roland, and I can go in depth in another video. But the V-Synth GT, they'll never make anything like that again. JD800, for sure, they're probably never going to make anything like that again unless they reissue it. And then, of course, the Phantom G, which I think came out in 2008. If I'm not mistaken. It's almost the newest piece I have as far as sort of this vintage digital stuff. And it's not the worst piece out of the setup, but it's on that verge of when synthesizers started to turn and sort of evolve into what we know as like these big workstations. In case you didn't know, the Phantom 7 that I had, I still have it, but it's lost its seating in place with all this other gear. And the Chronos that I used to have, I sold that. And those of you that saw the montage in my older video, I sold that. And I'm going to tell you, the montage I had a couple times, the Chronos I had at least 3 times. And it took me a while to figure it out. But these mega synthesizers that kind of came out from 2012 on and up, while they may work for some people, I kind of lost the appeal for synthesizers that can just do everything, and they just stuff an unlimited amount of things into it. And I just couldn't relate to those synths. And as you can see, I kind of went back and started buying more classic instruments because they have more focus, and they kind of bring me back to like the old days again, where stuff just technologically couldn't do it all, but it did certain things extremely well and kind of set themselves apart from everything else, and had sort of more an individuality to them. So that's kind of the purpose of why I kind of went back to all this. And so, but so I haven't made a video in a while, so please leave any comments or questions, and until next time, peace out.